May and June Geminis discuss all the craziness happening in the world. Did COVID-19 unleash a spirit of insanity? We're having simply necessary conversations about all the crazy and off-the-wall things happening in the world. Seems like stuff never went back to normal after the pandemic.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of memes floating around that portray Geminis as crazy, but it looks like a lot of people have lost their minds.
True that. Well, these two Geminis are thinking clearly, and we're going to break down some of what's been going on in the world. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So the first thing that we want to talk about today is like the trending topics was like we said in the intro, what's happening in the world. And it just so happens that it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and you're going to hate me for saying this, but you're technically older than hip hop, apparently.
Thank you.
You're technically older than hip hop. So, you know, I feel like I put you on to a lot of hip hop artists, being young and youthful, young and turned. But like, do you have any favorites from back in the day when hip hop was just getting its start?
Well, first of all, back in the day is a little bit much, but
I mean, we're talking.
I mean, a lot of our favorite artists overlap in that. I love Tupac. Yes,
that's my man.
Absolutely love Tupac. I definitely have a thing for Snoop Dogg.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
Yes, absolutely. And then you don't know some of these names, but there are some oldies but goodies like a Curtis Blow, who was very, very handsome, very good. Like you would not recognize him, but he was one of the original rappers from back in the day. There's Kool Moe Dee. There's like these are people, but if you listen to them, you would love them. They were some of the precursors to who you listen to. I mean, and y'all do know how to do the Dougie. Okay, well, Dougie Fresh was one of the original.
That came from him?
The Dougie is literally named after him.
I thought that was just a dance. I'm not even.
It's a dance that Dougie Fresh used to do during his performances. That is why it's called.
So if you are like,
that is literally named for Dougie Fresh. I didn't know that. So like, yeah, you should listen. For you younger people, you should listen to a song called "The Show." That is one of the ones that he's famous for. Lottie Dottie, we like to party.
Oh, Lottie Dottie.
Yeah, that is Dougie Fresh. So like, yeah, I'm from the hip hop the original hip hop generation. I also remember because like women in hip hop are a big deal now. Y'all listen to Nicki and
Cardi B, Megan Stallion,
and then
Ice Spice, Flo Milli.
My favorite, it's escaping me right now. They had the golden child. Remy Ma.
Oh, Remy Ma.
Love Remy Ma.
Honestly, I don't I like Remy Ma as a person, but I don't listen to her music a lot.
I don't know her music. I just love her style, her fashion sense.
You know,
I love her relationship with her husband.
The movie that I told you to watch, The Perfect Find, starring my man Keith Powers, love him. She's actually in the movie.
Okay. I just love her relationship with her husband. I love that she does not take any foolishness, like she does not suffer fools. Like her for that, but our hip hop females, people like Queen Latifah, people like MC Lyte, the Brat was one of ours. She guys
had a baby.
Yeah, and then Yo-Yo was one, but yeah, again, I'll have to have you update your playlist because these females were really the original female MCs.
Like, how do you feel about the new girls? Because I'm
okay. I mean, I like that they're empowered. I like that they are fully themselves, that they do not let anyone tell them what to do, how to dress, what to say. But as an older person,
here we go, child.
I don't necessarily enjoy some of the vulgarity.
Okay, but there's power in the vulgarity though. And some of it too is culture.
But you don't always have to say.
Okay, but
exactly.
My thing is if we're going to criticize the modern day female rappers for their vulgarity, then we also have to criticize the men that have been doing it for decades.
Well, I'm not in love with them either. I'm not in love with the ones that
when dudes were talking about it, it was like cool. It was
but it would never. At least for me, I'm sure for a certain segment of the population, it's fine. You know, we had the Luke Skywalkers. They called him Uncle Luke. That had the really, really outlandish.
Star Wars? I'm confused.
Well, his name was Luther or something or other. But anyway. He took that name as his stage name, but like his lyrics were really out there. As a matter of fact, explicit lyrics, that labeling, all of that started with him.
He won a lawsuit. Advisory?
Yeah, he won a lawsuit because he basically argued that they were infringing on his First Amendment rights to freedom of speech. But I feel like you don't have to say some of the words and use some of the lyrics. And I also don't like that these female rappers now talk about their sexual exploits and talk about their sexuality in a way that's just out there. I mean, If it makes money for them, if there's people that like it, that's their business. I just don't think that you always have to be so explicit with what you're saying.
I don't think you always have to be explicit with what you're saying, but like, I feel like there's a place for that type of music. Like, if you look, because, you know, I'm an Africana studies minor. I did a lot of, like, cultural studies or whatever. A lot of the, like, Nicki Minaj, she's Trinidadian. Mm-hmm. Cardi B, I believe she's, like, Dominican and Puerto Rican. I think
I know she's Puerto Rican.
I'm pretty sure she's Dominican too. But anyway, like a lot of Caribbean cultures, like they embrace like their sexuality and like kind of just being like crass with their humor. Like a lot of my Caribbean friends are very crass with their humor. So I feel like that's just kind of a part of the culture. And because there's been such an overlap in like, because if you listen to like some of the Jamaican girlies, like I believe I don't know if she's Jamaican, but she's Caribbean. I think her name is Shanashe. I think that's how you say it. But, like, if you listen to something, they be talking about a lot. Like,
well, and that's the thing. It's like, leave something to the imagination.
But
what happened to good old innuendo and double
okay,
entendre?
but
like,
nobody is saying that when they go into the Met Gala and they see European statues and peepees.
Okay, but that, first of all...
Is that not an expression of art and culture?
It is, but when you have to physically go to...
Okay, and you have to physically go on Spotify and click in
But not all the time. They play some of these songs on radio, broadcast radio. Kids are listening.
But the explicit version is not on broadcast radio.
I have been listening to the radio before and have heard stuff and be shocked. Oh, they actually are playing that version?
No, because when I hear the radio version of songs, there's no cursing. And they will change, like in WAP, they changed a lot of the lyrics in that song.
Even the title of that song.
But unless you're grown, do you know what it means now?
But the acronym is just so...
But nobody, like, a kid is not going to know what that is.
Okay, a kid might not, but a kid might ask. And these kids have the internet, and they have Google, and they have phones. They might look it up to see what it means.
But at what point are artists responsible for other people's kids? Because if I'm an artist, I don't care about your kids.
You're never responsible for other people's kids. I just think that people should be more mindful of the impact and the effect that they may have on people's kids. Because I feel like this: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You also have to be your brothers and sisters' keepers sometimes. I know nobody wants to do that, but I just feel like people should at least consider. And I mean, not to sound old-fashioned, because you know I'm not old-fashioned to the nth degree, but there is such a thing as being a lady. There is such a thing. There is such a thing as having some... I
don't necessarily like that terminology.
Well, I mean, and I don't want people to come for me and feel like I'm being mean to the artists or putting them down, because I'm not. I respect their game. I respect what they're saying.
The entire... Okay, not to be hyper feminist or whatever, because I don't even ascribe to hyper feminism, but the concept of being a lady is just entrenched in patriarchy. I'm sorry. Like, the concept of being a lady is completely based on how men view women and trying to act a certain way in order to get a certain man to like you.
And for me, it's not even about what somebody else thinks about me. It's about how I feel about myself.
Okay, but where does the feeling about yourself comes from? What? You feeling like you are a righteous, virtuous woman?
Not even so much that. Just I don't want to represent myself a certain way.
Okay, but why?
And I don't... Because I maybe it was the way I was raised. Maybe it's my Christian upbringing. Like
patriarchy.
Well, maybe it is, but I still think, and even when they're honest, not all guys, but a lot of guys will tell you they don't like to hear women speak a certain kind of way.
But why we care what guys like to hear?
Now, you know, I'm not governing myself based on what guys like to hear. I just feel like for the sake of my own self-esteem, for the sake of how I represent myself.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. I agree that sometimes as women we do certain things knowing that it'll get a certain reaction from men or whatever. But by definition, that's entrenched in patriarchy. So you might be comfortable in the patriarchy, but it's still patriarchy.
Well, I mean, and you know, as far as language is concerned, we come from a long line of cussologists. I will use a bad word here and there. I'll use a bad word a lot, but it's just where I am that determines which words I use.
I feel like when it comes to artists like the Cardi B's or the Sexy Reds of the world or whatever, they're making music for grown people. So if kids are listening to it, then their parents need to be monitoring what they're like. I'm not gonna let I like Cardi B. My kid isn't gonna listen to Cardi B.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you think some of why they choose to use all that graphic language is because they're leaning into it because they know that that's how they can make money? Is that true? Because I remember seeing a video of Cardi B listening to, I think it was Cardi B, listening to her song and thought her daughter was walking into the room and quickly turned it off.
But the thing is, I feel like as parents, you're going to do grown people activities you don't want your kids to see.
Of course. Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're going to do stuff that you don't want your kids doing. Like, when I was little, you never cursed in front of me when I was a kid.
No, because I did. Okay, you're making my point. I did not want you as a young child to think that it was okay. And so I took the responsibility within my own household to not curse in front of you. I didn't start cursing in front of you until you knew that you couldn't do it.
Okay, but the thing is I don't feel like it's an artist's responsibility to look after other people's kids. Because when I know I don't want my, like, you know how some of our family members will let their kids be on TikTok? My kid's not going to be on TikTok.
No ticking and talking. You didn't have any of that social media stuff.
I didn't get on social media until I was like 16.
And even then, you went on initially as me so that I had the opportunity.
Well, no, that was when I was younger. Well, when I was 16, I had my own profile.
Yeah, you had your own profile, but I was always checking to see what you're doing. Now that you're 21, you're legal in every aspect of the word. I don't monitor, I don't check, I don't, because it's not for me to. But when you were underage, I, as a mother, thought it was my responsibility to guard what you saw, because you cannot unring a bell. You cannot unsee, you cannot unhear things.
I completely agree with that, because, when I have my future children, they going to know how to behave. Mommy don't play that. But when I'm talking about artists and what they're producing, if I'm an artist, I'm not producing music for kids. Like, they ain't Choo Choo Soul. Like, that's not what they're doing.
I get it.
Like, they're producing music for grown people to listen to. Like, you think Beyonce is thinking about Blue Ivy when she singing Partition? No.
Well, I mean, we'll see. And then even with that, she's kind of walking the line, because while some of her music may not be intended for her younger kids and even Blue Ivy, but then she has her performing with her.
No, Beyonce has Blue Ivy performing during one of her cleaner songs where there's no sexual.
Right. So what is she modeling for everybody else? I am allowing my daughter to see me in this light, and I'm allowing my daughter to participate in my music as long as it's clean. But when it's not, then she's not. What I ask people to do is to think about those kids that come from homes where there isn't a parent that can monitor them.
That's nobody's responsibility. That's an unfortunate circumstance.
I beg to differ. It is all of our responsibilities. In that, I get you got to make your money. You have your freedom of speech and all that. But think, there are some kids where they look up to you, they're listening to your music, and they don't have someone to say, this is adult content.
So we're only making clean music from now on because little kids might listen to it?
It doesn't have to be squeaky clean, but it also doesn't have to be extremely vulgar.
But who gets to make that call? Because then you are getting into freedom
Everybody
of speech.
has to govern themselves accordingly. Everybody has to govern themselves.
I feel like if I want to listen to Ski Wee by Sexy Red, then I can listen to Ski Wee by
I don't know what that is, nor do I care. But all I'm asking, as a mother, to all artists, just think when you're making content who your audience is. And if you don't have to be graphic and vulgar, let's skip that. But let's elevate a little bit. Let's skip that.
But who says it's not elevation?
Like I said, I come from a long line of cussologists. I know all the words. I can teach some people some words, but I also know where to use those words and when it's appropriate.
All I'm going to say is I feel like if artists are going to be criticized, it needs to be holistic, and we need to be looking at these men that talk about drinking in lean cups.
I'm not happy with them.
Because really, if you look at male, and I love me a good hood jam. I love some male rap.
Absolutely.
But they be talking about doing drugs and smoking and drinking and killing themselves, et cetera, et cetera. The female rappers are just talking about being sexy.
Yeah.
So, like, which is more detrimental? Me being like, oh, I'm a baddie. Like, look at me, I'm cute.
I just don't want young girls to aspire to certain things. Like, I want them to, or find a balance. If you're going to talk about all that stuff that you're doing and all the sexual innuendo or whatever, also put out something that is going to encourage girls to be more than, because if you think about it, a lot of the sexy stuff, let's dissect this. A lot of the sexy stuff is meant to say to men, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is who I am. So once again, you're kind of falling into that trap. You are gearing your music towards arguing your point to a man to say, you need to appreciate my sexuality. You need to appreciate.
That's not a lot of the
talk about how smart you are.
If you listen to Flo Milli, she does talk about that.
Okay, I mean, and I'm sure there's some of that.
There's not all of the female rap songs are about, oh my God, I'm so sexy, come be with me. Like, not all of them are like that. Some of them are just like hot girl anthems.
Yeah, well, I think like that a lot of them songs are very reactionary, trying to get the men who they perceive to have mistreated them.
Yes, that is definitely
to know this is who I am, and if you can't do it, then I'll find somebody else that can, that kind of stuff. We need to stop worrying about what the men think about us and start elevating our platforms and using them in a way that are going to be constructive.
But if you actually look at what they're doing behind the scenes, Cardi B is very politically active. Talk to Bernie Sanders, talk to other representatives or whatever. Beyonce's constantly giving back to the community, constantly
They're all
exposing
people
women to different genres of music, like house music and Afro beats, and like merging all of that together.
There is no shade to any of them because they're all
Megan Thee Stallion got her. She college educated and still that.
Exactly. And I respect their game. I applaud and appreciate what they're doing as business women. I just ask them to think about some of the stuff they say. Does it need to be graphic?
And
does it need to be
specifically, too, I feel like a lot of people pick on black female artists and they don't pick on the white girlies that are doing the same things. Well, like I'm a big Lana Del Rey fan. Lana Del Rey talks about a lot of stuff in her music that goes over people's heads.
Well, Taylor
Swift even talks about sex in her music. And
I can only critique what I've actually listened to. And
no, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying you
is kind of in a certain place. Well, I listen to a lot. It's very eclectic, actually. But
you don't even listen to music.
I listen to music all the time.
Okay, well, name the last song you listened to. Go.
The last song that I listened to
that I didn't play for you. Go.
I'll have to think about it.
The silence is definitely.
I'll have to think about it. I listen to music. I listen to all kinds of music. I just got done wilding out Amy Winehouse. I just got done.
Who played it? Who played it?
Well, okay. Well, we can't have dueling music in the house.
No.
You tend to be the DJ.
I just moved back home. So before I left, when you were just chilling,
you left, when I was just chilling, I would listen to music periodically. But most of the time, I am either watching television.
Okay, so on your drive home, you don't listen to music?
On my drive home, I listen to NPR.
No.
National Public Radio, because
only
I want
psychopaths listen to talk radio on their way home.
I want to know what's going on in the world and be informed.
Okay, well, see, I work at a news station, so the last thing I want to do is hear people talk, because I hear that all day long.
Okay, so we're at different places in our lives. Now, I love a good bop, and I will listen to it, but I will listen to NPR, I'll listen to music. Sometimes I don't listen to anything. I know all you young people think that's just crazy.
The sound of my own thoughts.
Sometimes I gather my thoughts. I think about what I have to do in the evening. I don't always have to have something in my ear buzzing and playing, because sometimes I just need to be alone with my thoughts, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't like that. Anyways, speaking of hip hop and that whole scene, still, we come to Mr. Tory Lanez, Mr. Shoot somebody in the foot, and now everybody is whining and complaining online about the fact that he got 10 years. I would just like to say to everybody that's saying, oh my God, he got 10 years. He didn't even kill anybody. Let somebody come to your car, shoot you in your foot, and see how much time you want them to get.
Well, I am still completely lost on the whole thing. Why? Number one, why was there a gun involved at all? Number two, why did he shoot her in the foot? Okay, so that's the thing.
That's the real tea. He's not even getting 10 years just for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. He's getting 10 years because he's a Canadian citizen with a gun. So I think he got like 6 years for being a Canadian citizen with a gun. Because you ain't supposed to even be in this country with a gun, baby. What are you doing? And then he shot her, and then I think that's where the other 4 years came from.
I mean, just shooting somebody, period, like accidentally or on purpose,
and this goes back to the patriarchy and misogyny, because and I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong, because I really don't know the full facts of the case. Like I haven't studied this, because I got the life and I don't keep up with celebrities like that. But I feel like I feel like this is like a new test for like whether your man is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like Barbie movie, if you didn't like the Barbie movie, I'm just going to assume you're a misogynist, you hate women, and like get out of my face.
I'm not going to make that judgment call. Not about the Barbie movie anyway. That's
my personal test. And if you over here talking about Tory Lanez should have got 10 years, free my dog. First of all, that man don't know you. Let's be so for real. That's not your friend. That's not your homeboy. Like, if you're defending him, I'm questioning, like, why? Why do you care so much? Are you going to shoot me in the foot? Like, I'm chilling in your car, all of a sudden you're going to pull out the glizzy and shoot me in the foot and then not want to get 10 years?
Like, I'm not clear. Were they arguing? Did he just have the gun in his hand and it accidentally went off?
Based on my limited knowledge from what I remember about the case, is he said something to her like, dance, be dance, and was like, pew, 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 and it shot her in the toe. I think. Don't quote me on that, y'all.
Okay, that's a whole different level of crazy. Like, first of all, basic gun rules. you never point a gun at anybody.
Why he
Second of all, you shouldn't have a loaded gun when you're not at war. Like, what are you walking around with a gun for?
But yeah, I don't know why people like there's some people that like to carry guns, and I'm just like, there's some people I understand, like if you're from a really dangerous area, or like you live out in the woods and you hunting and gathering and you on your like countryman stuff.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But like, it's specifically in Tampa, like the people I know that carry guns. Who is your ops?
Right. Well, you know, in full disclosure, I am a gun owner, but that's
like,
to protect my house.
I want to learn how to shoot. Like, I want to go to a gun range and I want to learn how to shoot, and I want a pink gun. I say this to all of my friends. They're gonna clown me when they hear this again. Yes, I want a pink gun.
Oh my gosh.
And I like and not that I'm promoting this because I think this is a crazy law. It's like an open carry state in Florida now. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be armed and ready to go. I want to be armed and ready to go too.
I'm afraid of this whole open carry thing. But yeah, I am a gun owner, but I'm not an advocate for using violence or weapons.
Why do you
have? Just let me put this out there. If someone ever had the inclination to break into my house, just know I'm going to make sure that you break out.
Light them up. I'm just
the end. That's it. That's the only time you need to worry about me being a gun owner is if you come for me or try to do physical harm to me. And I feel
like too, there's like a stereotype. I feel like that like liberals don't like guns, which is true, I guess, to a certain extent. But when you're talking about black people in the South, that don't apply. Like I'm liberal, but I'm still going.
I'm liberal, but I'm not so liberal that I'm going to allow someone to harm me if I can protect myself.
I understand why people would have like something to protect them.
Yeah, like if you're using it to protect your home, and I don't mean you're standing your ground because somebody said something you didn't like, and so you went home and got your gun and waited until they knocked on your door and then shot them. Like that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your home, resting in your bed peacefully, and you hear someone trying to break in, and you think your life is in danger for real. Sense. Let's make sure we understand that also, getting into an argument or altercation is not a reason to use a weapon against anybody ever.
Fun historical fact is that we didn't have all these gun regulations and gun laws until the Black Panthers started carrying guns during the Civil Rights Movement, and then all of a sudden it was so dangerous to have guns.
Yeah, that's how.
But now it's like, just it's weird. History is weird.
Yeah.
But I wanted, like, we're still on the hip hop topic. Like, I'm just like
it's
a
the
hip hop
anniversary
type
of hip hop.
Today.
We should continue the theme. Yeah.
But let me put y'all on to two of my favorite artists. They're both brothers, which looking at the picture, like when you look at this picture, you can tell.
Yeah.
They're both brothers.
They're twinning.
I didn't put two and two together because I saw D Smoke for the first time on like a reality TV show. And then Sir, I just kind of discovered on my own because I love alt R&B. I love neo soul, like that type of vibe. Didn't realize they were brothers. I think they're both from Inglewood. D Smoke has worked with Snoop. And also, D Smoke is his voice, scrumdiddlyumptious, because he also knows how to rap in Spanish, and I just feel like it adds a little extra flair to his music. But anyway, playing a little snippet of D Smoke and Sir's new song, "Work Hard, Play Hard," and I love this first line. So get your listening ears ready, Mom.
Super. My praying mama proud of a little black boy. We headline a club on the sneakers and back doors. Walk through the kitchen, got plenty ink on our passports. And not to mention our queens ain't pushing no rap for. What you think I rap for?
Like, that's quite lovely. Like, I have to admit, like the musicality of it, the words, like
Because like my praying mama proud of her little black boys. I feel like every like black family could relate to that.
Yeah, I like that.
And then plenty ink on my passport.
How old? Wait. How old is he?
Oh. Why are you asking me that?
I'm just asking, just curious.
Okay, listen. D Smoke.
I'm just trying to figure out if liking his
voice
D
Smoke is 37.
Okay, no, that puts me in cougar category. No, never mind. Just kidding.
Mom.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. For real?
Yeah.
Because 37, he could dance. Almost.
See, cussologist. She comes from the same family, but no, ma'am.
My apologies, mother. You could turn there, be my father. And then Sir's 36.
Yeah, but he could almost be my son, so like that would be very strange.
Mom, wait, the math ain't mathing on that. How?
Because he's in that weird space
where if somebody is 40,
he's too old for you, but too young for me.
But like that's 20 years older. than me.
He's too
and
old,
that's 13
for
years younger than you,
and too young for me.
So you can't be his mother.
Yeah, maybe not his mother, but I definitely could not date him. Like if you were no. If you weren't born at least by 1975.
Ooh,
me
Lord.
and you cannot be a
That's a
thing.
long time
Like,
ago.
and that's me giving you a couple years. Like, me and you cannot be a thing unless you were born before 75. But his voice is quite lovely. I like the music that you shared.
Okay, so hypothetically, if I were to date somebody that was 30, how would you feel about that?
It depends on their motives and how they came across.
Wait, it's not an absolutely heck no?
I mean, because you are a legal adult at this point, I would have to know why a 30-year-old was interested in you and did not already have a significant other that's closer in age.
What do you mean why they
were
interested?
You are quite beautiful. You are my child. I know you have all kinds of positive traits, but I would need to know why he's not with someone his own
I would
age.
be a little suspicious. Like,
yeah, I would
like
need to know.
there would have to be a reason that we met. Like, you can't just
he'd have to meet you, get to know you, like, and not realize your age, and you not realize his age, and then by the time you figure it out, you're already like attracted to each other. But not he knew going in you were only 21, and that would be problematic for me. That would be problematic for me. Yeah.
If it would just
it would have to be something that happened spontaneously.
But I don't know if you dated somebody 30, I'd be like,
that would not happen. That would not happen. Mm-mm.
Even 40, I would be like,
no, ma'am. 1970. Everybody listening. 1975.
Wait, what is 1970? How old would they be?
They would be 5 years younger than me. 75.
So like late 40s.
Yes, 1975.
I'm like giving away your age real bad right now.
Well, I mean, I told you, I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm holding it down pretty good. 100, well, half of 100.
More than half of 100.
Half of 100 plus 3. I'm proud of my age, but 1975 is kind of the cutoff on that side, and then on the other side.
Or you get somebody that's like 80.
Why would I do that? Tell me why. Why would I do that?
Okay, one of my friends.
Well, black don't crack. He would have to be a very fly 80. Like, he would have to be a very.
What I'm saying is, like,
80.
okay, not to sound like a gold digger or nothing, but like,
please don't.
Like a attractive 80-year-old man, you have like maybe a good 10 years left with him. And then he just is like, let me provide for you, baby.
People live, but
okay, but
no,
like dating a 95-year-old would be weird.
Who's dating a 95-year-old? Should be dating anybody other than their wife that is also 95. Like,
no, what I'm saying is, like, if you started dating somebody that's like 80, and then like you continue to date, they're gonna turn 95 unless they die.
Why are we talking about dating old men? Why? Like, what? No, 1975, and I will go.
Okay, so your max is what age? I can't do calculations.
5 years on either side.
So
5
how old
years
is that?
5 years older. 58 and 47. Yeah, 47 on the low end.
I feel like you can go ahead and date somebody 60.
I mean, whatever.
Like, no,
I'm not gonna be like, let me see your ID. I just need to know that we have some things in common, and that we have some similar likes and interests and whatever. And they have to be self-sufficient, because I'm not trying to be your mama. I'm not trying to raise anybody.
That was a deathly eye roll.
Because you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to raise anybody else's child. I'm not trying to undo all the damage that your mama did, and I'm not trying to build a man.
I feel like at your age, you need to have like 2 houses, multiple cars, kids are grown,
or something,
like annual trips to Venice,
or
like.
Something. Well, I got my half. I'm waiting on somebody to come.
I'm
with
just
their
saying,
half.
like, I feel like at your age, you should be like, not princess treatment, queen treatment.
Queen-ager I am. Exactly.
That was doing a little much.
Treat me like the queen-ager that I am.
No, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Moving on from that.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of crazy and outlandish things, the situation that happened at that dock in Alabama.
Okay.
Our people were not playing no games, okay?
What had happened was that some people effed around and found out.
Okay, so let me give some backstory, because when I started seeing the videos, I had no clue what was going on. Like, I was lost. Mm-hmm. But basically, from what I gathered, was that like some people were on a boat, some people that were, como se dice, not black. Some people were
no, they weren't actually on the boat. They had parked up. Because I watched the memes and the stuff on Facebook all day, and finally, in the evening, after I got off work, somebody finally posted the beginning. What had happened was, there was you know how people go out on river cruises and day cruises and that kind of thing. So there was a cruise boat that was trying to dock. Mm-hmm. Some people that were in a personal boat had basically docked their boat in a place where they were not supposed to.
No, okay.
A person of color who happened to be working security, that worked for the cruise line or whatever and stuff.
Anyway, yeah.
He asked them, or he may not have asked them, like they had left the boat. So he moved their boat, didn't do any damage to it or anything. He moved the boat, tied it off like you do a boat to keep it from floating away, so that the ship that had these people that were waiting to disembark could get off their boat. Well, these people that were not minorities came back. They were upset that he had moved their boat, and they confronted him. They had exchanged words.
No, because all I saw was a little.
And then the bat signal.
No, he threw
his hat in the air.
Everyone surrounded.
And they all attacked him. So for a minute, it was this one man against several people. Well, the bat signal worked.
Aquaman and the lights.
The Avengers assembled because
I can't say what I said on my Instagram.
The next thing you know, you saw African Americans of all shapes, sizes, and colors.
We had the women. We had the Dora. Wait, let me not fail my Marvel peeps. Dora Milaje.
I don't know what the
I forget how to. I know what I'm talking about. I forget how to say it.
But the Avengers definitely assembled.
They came
from everywhere, and my personal favorite, everybody knows who I'm talking about, the young man who was on the boat.
He swam across.
Dove into the water and swam to the dock to help defend his brother. Because it got out of control. And all I can say is I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying that you should ever hit anybody.
But if they hit you, you hit them back.
also should never gang up on one individual and think that somehow his fellow man is not going to come to his rescue. Because they were trying to
whoop that man's behind.
They could have killed him.
I saw somebody kick him. It was getting very violent.
They were showing him no mercy. So when it was time to return the favor, it was returned in kind.
All I have to say is Harriet Tubman would have been.
Well, as my mother posted on her Facebook page, America was great again and woke at the same time, because they did regulate and they did let them know. But we are not our ancestors. You are not going to attack, kick, and try to kill us, and we're not going to resist.
Did you see that somebody made a GoFundMe? You know the man with the folding chair? The folding chair is now famous. Yeah, everybody got their folding chair weapons.
In case you missed it, that is why people are making memes about
There's literally filters on TikTok. Which folding chair are you?
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it was used in the defense.
But the man with the folding chair, I think he got arrested or something.
Several people got arrested.
He did a little time.
Yeah.
But I think somebody started a GoFundMe to get him out.
And shout out to Stephanie Mills. I know you might not recognize her. Again, update your playlist. Stephanie Mills, you will love her. She volunteered to do a benefit concert to raise funds for those that were arrested that could not afford.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's sad that it happened, but it also made me proud to see people sticking together and not allowing someone to be abused for doing his job. He literally was trying to do his job.
I'm glad to see too, a lot of people that I thought would have been just quick to stereotype all the black people. They're being oh, they're just thugs or whatever. A lot of people were on board. They were just why are you doing that? My favorite
commentary has come from a lot of white people that saw what happened, knew it was wrong, and they're calling it out. And we appreciate you, allies. We appreciate you, because that was just ridiculous.
Do you know the nice lady that be on TikTok? She called everybody her tater tots.
I don't know her.
You know that lady.
Do I?
Yes, you know that lady. Ooh, I think her name is Ophelia or something. She's from why am I talking in a
Is she the one that
right
dances
now?
all the time?
No.
Okay, never mind. Just kidding.
She's the lady. Oh my God.
You'll have to show me later.
She calls everybody tater tots, and she's famous, and everybody loves her. And she's an Alabamian, a native Alabamian, and she was just you can't put your hand. Wait, I got to do it in an accent.
Oh my.
You can't put your hands on somebody and expect them not to hit you back. She was going in on it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds. I hope people are not taking away that we are advocating violence, because we've talked about two topics that involve violence. But just know that I'm
advocating you finna defend yourself.
You cannot use violence against someone, especially someone that is basically just trying to do their job, and think that they're not going to defend themselves. And I was very proud of all those people that saw that man needed assistance,
and they came to the rescue,
and they responded to his
I feel
call.
Some of it too is just a mob mentality of one of ours is getting attacked, let's go. But now see, if I would have been there, I don't fight. No, I can't. I mean, if somebody is hitting somebody, I would have
been the friendly lady that called 911.
No, I'm calling 911. Hello,
I would have called 911.
There's a brawl on this Alabama dock.
And I would have used my phone to document what happened. But I'm not, unless I'm physically threatened, or you're physically threatened, or my mom or my dad. Everybody else has to fend for themselves in a certain kind of way. However, if it's mass chaos and I see that there's a group of people that are targeting,
it depends on. One of my friends asked me this the other day, would you fight for your friend? And honestly, it depends on who the friend is. And
my friend better not be starting a fight and expecting me to get in it.
I don't even mean like who the friend is, like I'm playing favoritism. But there's some people I know I got a mouth on me. I know I can say some outlandish things that somebody might want to pop me in the mouth for one day. Mm-hmm.
But they better know who your mama is.
But then
they do.
You ain't,
okay,
no,
all right. Let's just put that out there.
Like what I'm saying is there some friends I know did you start a friend? Was it you?
Yeah.
And then there's other friends I know they ain't gonna start nothing with anybody.
We need to unpack that. Just because someone is your friend and they get into an altercation, that is not grounds for you to fight. Did said friend start that altercation?
No, I feel like men, like my guy friends, they're gonna hear this and be like, "Girl, what are you talking about? Like you just supposed to fight for your friend."
No. If you are in the wrong, count me out. If you're in the right and I see you're holding your own, I'm probably not going to get involved. If I see your life in jeopardy. It
depends on like, are you being ganged up on or is it like a one-on-one?
Yeah, like if it's one-on-one and or if you started it, I'm not getting dirty for you. I'm just not doing
that. Now,
this
does not apply to relationships because if I'm out somewhere and my hypothetical man don't help me fight.
Oh, now that's a whole different ball game.
Like, where are you?
That's a whole different ball game. I'm not getting into a fight unless I am physically threatened or unless you're physically threatened. Now, and let me say, I said that I would not help someone if they started it. If Imari starts something on her mama.
Oh, if I started fighting, you gonna finish
count me. Now I'm gonna get her when she gets home, but in the moment, count me in.
See, that was I remember discussing this with my friends in college. Of would you like fight for your child if they were like in a fight? And everybody, and I feel like it's different cultures, but like everybody was just like, no, you gotta let them get dirty. You gotta let them like figure it out.
No, ma'am. Count me in.
I'm most definitely going to be that mother that's pulling up to the playground.
Look,
who did it, baby? Who did it?
Call me Hulk Hogan. Count me in. If somebody jumps you, I'm going
to try. My first stop is going to be where your mama at. The mama ain't around.
Yeah, like no, and I'm not gonna keep hitting my kid. I'm not gonna hit a kid or anything like that. But
wait, so if you saw a kid hit me and the mama is nowhere around,
you mean when you were a child or
now?
No,
not now.
Oh, when you were a child,
I'm not going to hit the kid, but I'm going to like get the kid off my kid.
If a kid hit you and that's all they did, I would not hit a kid. If a kid were attacking you, I would get that kid off of you. But no, I'm not going to hit a kid. Now, if I take said kid to their parent and then their parent.
If I found out my kid was getting bullied at school, I might lose my common sense that day.
I don't know.
I feel like I wouldn't act rationally.
I would give everybody, much as my father did when we were kids, I would give everybody the opportunity to do their jobs. Like my dad did when I was being bullied at school, and he told the principal, you can handle it or I'll handle it. You decide. And there was no smile. There was no flinch. I feel like the way you can handle it or I can handle it.
I feel like the way that I am though, like just earlier today, my friend talked about somebody snatched something out her hand. I was like, why didn't you slap them? Like, I'm not even a violent person.
But I've always taught you, somebody saying something to you is not grounds to hit them.
No.
Somebody, violence is not the answer in most situations. Self-defense is the only time that violence is acceptable. The only time, not them saying something to you because I've told you that all your life. They can say stupid. They can get right here and call you everything but a child of God.
If that is not a reason. Drop of spit hit my face.
Even that, if it wasn't intentional spit, you got to walk away from that. The only time that you are justified is if it is.
But really, I'm saying all of this. The only time I would ever fight somebody that was actively trying to fight me and not just call the police is if I feel like I could take them.
I think we've talked about violence and fighting too much. Let's talk about something more positive.
LOL. Well, this isn't really positive, but it's kind of on a different topic. But you used to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. You were a teacher for 7 years?
7 years. Well, if you add it all up,
basically you were a teacher before I was born, and then you went back after I was 16 or whatever. So you have experience teaching. I'm new to the workforce specifically, in that realm or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I saw on the Instagrams on the camera app, where a man was criticizing a woman's outfit because she was a teacher. She happened to be a black woman. And all she had on was a blouse, some slacks, and heels. She was fully covered head to toe. Mm-hmm. But sis, she had a cute figure. And I feel like a lot of times as black women specifically, women in general, it you can't you have to be so intentional about dressing extremely modestly in order for people not to criticize how you look. It's specifically if you're a teacher or you're doing something where you're going to be seen by people or on camera or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I definitely have felt like that.
Well, okay, let me just say this. When I was teaching, and I was very selective about what I wore to school because I was working at a high school. So you're dealing with a lot of young men.
And you were working at high school in your 20s, like you were about my age.
Well, the first time I was teaching, I was only, the kids never knew this. They always asked me how old I was because they knew that I couldn't have been too much older than them. And I think I was only 10 or 11 years older than them. And I could blend.
No, Mom, that doesn't make sense.
When I taught the first time, the first time I went into teaching, I was like 26.
I thought you were 24.
I didn't. Yeah, no, I was about 26 when I taught for the first time. So I was not that much older than some of the people that I was teaching. A lot of times I would get mistaken for a student. I intentionally did not wear things that I would wear if I was out with friends or at a family outing, because I know I'm teaching young men, and young men, you know, they're young men. So while I took that step, it is not something that should be required of someone to do.
But I feel like there's a difference between wearing something like what I wear now. Obviously, I'm not going to wear that to work. Like, but like, let's be so for real. I'm not wearing this. Is my chill, like having fun clothes. Right. But I feel like sometimes there's pressure to not, like, she had on a blouse and slacks. Like, she was fully covered.
And I get it. And there was nothing wrong with her outfit. Let's just say that. There was nothing at all wrong with her outfit. She had on a long sleeve shirt. She had on slacks that went to the floor. She was fully covered. Fortunately for her in most situations, but unfortunately for her as a classroom teacher, she was quite boom, boom, boom.
Okay, but I feel like you cannot dictate what women wear or what, like, the dress code is. Like, what is she supposed to put on?
Well,
she can't hide her behind.
She had every right to wear what she had on. And I think that the critique was out of pocket. He was wrong for that. That wasn't his business. If the principal at the school, if the parents weren't complaining, that was not that man's business. But I'm on both sides of this argument. I think if you are teaching or addressing or being exposed to young people, especially if you're a female and you're dealing with young men. For instance, I never would do, they told us at the school one time, we needed to be willing to stay after school and work with the kids after school. It's like, I'm not being alone in this classroom with these young men by myself. That was my thought when I was younger. And I can remember an older teacher on staff saying, keep living, just keep living. It'll be fine. When I went back in my second iteration, I was a little bit less cautious.
You still look young though. They still
but I was older and I had a little bit more confidence, and I felt like people would not suspect or think a certain kind of way with me being an older person. But when I was a younger teacher, I made it my business never to be alone with male students. I made it my business to dress very conservatively and modestly around them. Which was crazy because we lived in a small town, so they'd see me other places dressed in my play clothes, I would call them.
But I feel like the issue isn't like her dressing in her play clothes at work. She was wearing work clothes.
She was wearing professional clothes. She just happened to be.
But okay, so is it her fault that she has a figure that most people would find desirable?
It is not her fault. It is absolutely not her fault.
Because if it was somebody else that didn't have like the desirable figure or the hourglass figure or whatever, then what she had on, nobody would have.
They wouldn't care if it fit her snugly because there was more of her in it, people would not judge her. But because the problem she has, like I said, it's a good problem to have. She just looked too nice in the outfit.
But I feel like that's kind of crazy.
It is.
Like, even when I'm like out and about and I'm trying to be in professional settings, I know sometimes the older ladies be giving me a side eye like, why you got that on? And I'm just like, ma'am, I literally have on a floor-length dress. You can just see my body. I'm sorry.
That's called hating. And they can go back to Haiti with that.
Because like the other day I had on like a work appropriate type dress that went down past my knees, and I had on a sweater all day, and everybody was still looking at me like, girl, where are you going? And I'm just like,
well, that in that case you have to shake the haters off.
I'm just like what you want me to do?
You just got to shake the haters off.
I don't know what you want.
Yeah. Well, she just was blessed and highly favored, and she looked nice in her outfit, and somebody just had feelings about it that were not their feelings to have.
I just wish that as women, we didn't have to constantly like be overly caught. Because every day I'm just like, okay, what can I wear that shows my body the least? And still, like I feel like as a woman, regardless of what you put on, men are still going to look at you.
If you dress too modest or what they would call
be like, oh, you're
old fashioned, then you're matronly and you need to step up your game. If you dress too fly and you look too nice, then that's a critique that's going to come from the other direction. The bottom line is do what makes you happy and try to be appropriate for the setting.
I'm not going to say who the friend is, but she going to know if she watches this. I remember one time my friend said in church, a lady said that 1, she was going to hell, and 2, that she was going to get raped because she had on pants. And I was like, what?
Okay, well, that's those people that are too heavenly minded that they're no earthly good. Like I was raised Christian, but you can become so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, and that you think everything you do is going to be judged. And if wearing a pair of pants is going to send you to hell, if wearing something that's figure flattering is going to send you to hell,
I'm in danger, girl.
We are in danger. We better
serious danger, because I love this
weather is perfect for us because we need practice. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm going always. I'm just saying, if that's what's going to send you to hell, we are in trouble. Because when I was a wife and mother, I dress very white,
and I always said, like,
and
why
mother like. I'm not wife anymore.
Okay, but my thing is even when I do become somebody's wife, I'm still gonna look cute. Did you not marry me?
Even then, when I was wife and mothering, I was wife and mother when I went out alone. If I was accompanied by my then husband or someone that I was, that's a whole different thing, because I want people to look at I want people to look at me and him and want to be him.
But once again, I still go back to the patriarchy, because I'm gonna look cute whether I'm with you or not.
I don't have a date today, and I think I'm
but like what I'm saying is, if I was married and like I have my husband, this goes back to like the Keke Palmer situation. If I'm married, well, she ain't married anyway, but if I'm married and I got my husband, I'm still gonna look cute even when I'm not with you. Am I gonna walk out looking like I'm finna go play a role in Baywatch? Absolutely not. Like,
there's certain outfits that I think, and it's not just. There's certain outfits that are appropriate for certain settings, certain occasions. For instance, if you're a young lady, this is just me as a mom. If you're a young lady and you're going to a club and you're not going accompanied by a male or with a group of friends where you have some kind of insulation and protection, there are certain outfits that are simply not safe.
I don't care about the male.
They're simply not safe.
I only go to the club with friends. I'm not going to the club by myself.
So but if you're going out with your guy, first of all, okay, Imara, I know you're going to come with the patriarchy and all that kind of stuff. But first of all, if I'm with someone, I'm not going to get his approval.
Oh, no, I agree with this.
I'm not going to get his approval.
I said this to my friends.
But I want him to think I look nice. And I also don't want him to be embarrassed to be seen with me. I also don't want him to feel like, okay, you are putting yourself out in such a way that you are tempting or whatever. No, like, I feel like it's all about how you conduct
yourself. Like, I conduct myself like a single woman because I am single. Nobody has any like claims to me or whatever. Like, I can do whatever I want whenever I want because I'm by myself.
Amen.
But if I was in a relationship, the way that, like, even the way that you like talk to other men in public, the way,
all of
like,
that's
if I'm
different.
at the club and I'm with a man, or like I know I got my man waiting for me at home, I'm not gonna be up like, throwing it back in a circle and being like, you know, like on my Beyonce moment. Like, no, I'm gonna have some fun, be with my homegirls, have a good time. But like, I'm not gonna do the most. I'm not gonna present myself like, hey, come in, because women know. Like, there's a way that you be like, hey, come and say something to me. Hey, Bookie. Yeah. Versus, no,
I say these are the best years of your life. Try to respect yourself and don't present yourself in a way that other people won't feel like they can disrespect you. But at the end of the day, do what it is, dress how it is that you feel comfortable and you feel good about yourself. And anybody that has a problem has a problem.
This is true. Mm-hmm. So now on to like Ask Gemini. I'm going to actually ask you a question this time instead of having somebody call in.
Okay.
So my question for you is, and like I feel like I can't even really answer it because I'm so young. Anyway.
Look, my princess hands, yes.
My question for you is, if you had a do-over button in life, like, would you use it? Like, what would you change? Would you just like start over? Is there something that you would just be like, never doing that again?
Oh, there's lots. There's lots. Okay, well, first of all, when you say do-over, let's get some perspective. Do I know what I know now, or am I just rebooting and starting over with no knowledge of the present?
I wasn't anticipating that question. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what would your answer be for both?
Okay, if I knew all the things I know now and could start over.
Okay, but what would you start? Like, what
I would start over.
What would you do differently?
Okay, so I don't know how much of my business I want to put out in the streets right now, but and I know you feel a certain kind of way when I answer this question. But I keep telling you, I promise you, baby, I would come find you, but I probably would not marry the same person.
Okay, wait. I
probably would not
have
marry
very
the same
passionate
person.
feelings about
I know you do. I know
because
you do.
if we look at the Marvel Universe as our base.
Well, first of all, I need that
world.
Thanos. I need that Thanos because 50% of the people walking around, I think I might need to snap some folks away. But go ahead.
But if we look at the Marvel Universe, if you went back in time and you changed things, or like there was another multiverse, or like something changed, and you didn't marry the same person, you didn't marry my sperm donor, LOL. You didn't marry my sperm donor, then I wouldn't be me,
baby. Let me touch your hand when I say this.
No.
Let me touch your hand.
No.
I will find you.
No, you're not. You're not understanding. If everything didn't happen the way that it happened, I would not be me.
Okay, so
I
you
wouldn't
asked me to
exist.
answer 2 ways. Okay, if I knew what I knew now, and you know I know a lot now, so many things have happened. Yeah, I would change certain things. If I didn't know, like if I had to go back without this knowledge, I would be afraid to do that. I would be afraid to go back and not have this knowledge. But I guarantee you on everything, your specific sperm donor or not, because of the connection that you and I have, I would find you. I would make a way for you to exist. There is no going back. There is no Thanos, and there is nothing that's going to make me ever forget about you. I promise you, this mama would find
you. Are not Wanda, okay? You ain't finna be homegirl running around here trying to do spells with some imaginary kids running around.
Don't underestimate the power and the love that a mother has for their child. I guarantee
you sound just like that heifer, and that's why they had demons coming out of stuff.
I would find you. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I would change. Those people that say, oh, if I had my life to live it over again, I'd do everything the same way. Well, then you're a fool.
I mean, I feel like I would do everything the same way.
I would. Well, I'm your mama.
What does that have to do with you?
Because I tried to make sure you had a relatively happy childhood.
I feel like over the past, I'll give myself like 4 years, because that's like the college journey, I guess. Well, wait, now I'm thinking about it. No, I wouldn't do everything the same. Oh, okay. I wouldn't do everything the same.
I'm just saying,
most things I would. Sane
person would go back and get rid of the.
But there's some things that like I wish I could have been like, if I would have done this, then how would it? Like, you know what I'm talking about.
And it's funny. We joke about it, whatever. But I have wondered. It's like, okay, marriage didn't work out, wrong person, whatever. But I do have this child that I love and adore. But I do actually wonder, like, could I have somehow manifested different situation and still,
I mean, you probably would have still had a kid. It just wouldn't be me.
Well, then that wouldn't have been my child. You're the only child that I was meant to have. I was born to give birth to you. That's the way I feel about it. That's the way I feel about it.
I like this thought process.
Yes, that's the way I feel about it. I know a lot of people think it's obnoxious because if you meet me for 5 minutes, I'm talking about my child. I don't apologize for that. I don't owe you an apology for that. I think that's what being a mother is.
People say the same thing about you. Like, they'll be like, oh, like, you talk about your mom a lot, or you're always with your mom, or I love your relationship with your mom, or your mom. Like, my friends, low key, they like you better than they like me. Like, Trapor the other day, me and you were arguing. Me and you were arguing real bad, and she was like, I don't know, Imari. I feel like you should apologize. Your mom's so nice.
And that is why I love your friends, because you have friend group. If you're listening, I love all of y'all because y'all have
grandpa group chat.
Y'all have been a very good influence on Imari. I'm so glad she had y'all through college. I'm so glad that y'all formed the friend group that you have, because y'all are good influences on her. I appreciate all of you. But yeah, I make no apology. I make no apology for feeling the way I feel about my child. I make no apology for feeling the way I feel about my parents. People talk, well, your parents weren't perfect. No, they were not. They were very flawed individuals. They made a lot of mistakes. Ooh, there were times. But overall, generally, I had good parents that prioritized me, which I think hopefully
we gotta get them on the podcast.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, that now.
If we could get grandma and granddaddy,
that would be real interesting. But anyway, I mean, the going back in time, like I wrestle with that because there's so many things that I wish that I could do over. So many people that I wish I could unknow. If there was such a thing as unknowing some people.
I feel like for me, I wish that I would have enjoyed my childhood more. And I would have made like more of an attempt to like make friends and like do all the little kid stuff. Because I feel like I always was so hyper focused on like, oh, when I'm an adult, when I go to college, when I do. And now like, I'm post-grad and I just go to work every day and come home.
Like
I miss the days of just sitting on the living room floor, watching like the Disney Channel and having no responsibility in the world.
Well, and one of the biggest regrets I have is not starting to have kids earlier so that you would have a sibling. But you and I both know that having a sibling would not necessarily
I don't necessarily know. Like when I was younger, I wanted a sibling, but now I feel like I would
Okay,
not
wait a
have
minute.
liked that.
Let's fix this.
What?
Let's fix this. You do have a sibling. Oh my God. Just not one that was raised in the house. I just want to put that out there, and that is not because he did nothing. He's an innocent victim of some people. But yeah, we got
the same daddy issues.
You have a sibling. Unfortunately, y'all were just not raised together. I just want to make sure, because anybody listening, I don't want people to be thinking I'm trying to be funny, because I'm not.
And I don't even mean, like, if you see this one day, I'm sorry, brother. But, like, I don't even mean this in, like, a bad way. I just never talked to him. Like,
there's a big age difference.
The last time I talked to him, I was, like, 8. So,
there's
like,
a big age difference. You were not raised together. You were not even raised in the same state. I just want to put that out there, because when he was younger, I really feel like he thought that I did not like him. It was never that. He was born before your dad and I ever got together. Y'all just like the situation was not. It was there was never any facilitation so that y'all could know each other in the proper way. That was never my fault. I was a kid, so I just want to say that. So if you're listening, there's no shade to you. When I say I wish she had a sibling, I mean a sibling in the house with her.
I wish I had a sister. Now, a sister. If I had a sister, that would have been a vibe. Like, we would have got on everybody's nerves.
Maybe
that would have been a vibe.
Maybe I don't know. But that's some of the regret. Like I said, I wish there was some people that I could go back and unknow. There's some people that I wish I could go back and not never put faith and trust in, because they were great disappointments to me. There's some things that I wish I had done career wise that I didn't pursue, because.
But I feel like I'm learning from your mistakes. So, like, I am your do-over in a certain type of way.
I prefer that you learn from my mistakes than for you to make them yourself. I try to allow for you to make your own mistakes. And these idiots out there that say, oh, you got to let your kids make their own mistakes.
Now sometimes.
You got to let them make their own mistakes, but you also don't see them walking into a brick wall and don't say anything.
Sometimes we be arguing because you be like, I'm trying to protect you from yourself. And I'm just like, oh, but I'm grown or whatever. Sometimes you be right. Sometimes.
I think a lot of times. Mm-hmm.
But now that, like, all of that's out, now that you, like, said you don't want to have me no more.
No,
like,
I said exactly.
And you want to Thanos me, and I would never. You want to do me like how Thanos did Gamora and just threw her across the cliff.
The listeners heard me say, under whatever circumstances, I would find you in whatever multiverse you were in.
Okay,
I would find you. I wouldn't exist.
But. What do you want our Gemini gem to be for this episode, for our second episode?
Okay. So the Gemini gem for this episode is, there are a couple things that you should always have in your vehicle. Now, there's a lot of things you should always have in your vehicles, but I'm going to just name 3 of them. Number 1, you should always have a sweater or a jacket. If you no matter what, summertime, wintertime, whatever, because sometimes you go to an event, you go on a building, whatever, and it's cooler than you expect, especially if you have on shorts or short sleeves or whatever. So always have some type of sweater or jacket in your car. Just buy one to leave in your car so that you always have that. You're never uncomfortable. Number 2, you should always have a comfortable pair of shoes. And I say this specifically to the ladies, especially if you tend to wear heels or whatever. Shoes. Make sure you have comfortable shoes, preferably waterproof, because if you are in a situation where you're out longer than expected, you got that comfortable pair of shoes. If you are somewhere where your car breaks down and you got to walk, or you can't, just walk into a building because you got to go down the road or whatever stuff, comfortable pair of shoes. It can be a pair of flip-flops. It can be whatever you feel is comfortable enough for you to walk a couple miles or whatever in a worst case scenario situation. And then finally, you should always have an umbrella. Because unexpected rain in Florida, and a lot of people tend to think umbrella rain. No, umbrella can be used for shade,
but not a black umbrella. Get
a light colored umbrella, because black will draw heat. If you get something that is light colored, it will reflect the heat. But have an umbrella for rain or for shine, so that you are never in a situation where, okay, it's raining, can't get out of my car, or it's raining and I need to go here or there, whatever. So those are just a couple of things that you should always keep in your car. Oh, and I'm going to throw in a 4th one that I hadn't planned. An empty gallon jug.
What?
So many times people have needed to put water in their car. They don't have anything to put the water in.
Why would you put water in your car?
Because you don't know cars. So
wait, you mean like put water in the car?
Like sometimes it'll overheat and you need water.
In the car?
There's a place. I don't know cars that well, but I know there's times when you need to put.
I thought you meant like you were going to get dehydrated on your drive.
No. I mean, an empty gallon jug for so many of the different things that you may need to transport in forms of liquid. And an empty gallon jug weighs nothing. You just throw it in your trunk because you never know. Even what you're saying, though, you may be broke down or whatever and have to stop and knock on somebody's door and say, can I have some water? They might not want to let you in the house, but they may let you go to the faucet and fill that jug up.
I don't know if time's ever going to get that hard. I might just run through McDonald's.
Well, anyway, if you're broke down, you're not running through anything.
I mean, if it's like The Last of Us and there's a zombie apocalypse, then maybe.
Okay. But empty gallon jug in your car. It may come in handy. You never know.
Okay, so my singular wait, does it look good? Does my lip gloss look okay?
Yes, you're popping.
Like it's just this lip gloss that I have on right now. The NYX Butter Gloss, and this is not a paid promotion. NYX, if you want to sponsor me, like let your girl know, because like that would be great. But the NYX Butter Gloss never does me wrong. It never does me dirty. If you just get you a lip liner, literally I just use lipstick or like an eyeliner or whatever. And then you pair like I think I have like the Java, I think that's what it's called, and like the creme brulee. It's gonna do you right. And I have to make sure the lips are moisturized. You know, that's the only thing I don't even wear lipstick anymore. If you haven't noticed, it's always lip gloss.
Okay.
You should get some.
Okay, you're cute or whatever, I guess.
Thank you. But I feel like is that a wrap on our second episode?
I don't know. I just feel like we talked about violence way too much today. We're not violent people, I swear.
Child, if somebody hits you,
I'm going to hit them back, but I'm still not.
I'm not promoting violence, but I'm saying like defend yourself.
And we're not advocating violence. There was just a lot of self-defense type situations that happened this week. That's all.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for joining us. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Period.